Saturday morning, no it's not, it's Sunday. Sunday morning, 7 TV, there's no Carl but we've just D. It's like Radio
Let's see what you
1.
did there.
It's like Radio 1 whenever they come up with like temporary jingles because, like, I don't know, somebody else is doing the show instead of the person who's supposed to. Like, I still listen to Radio 1.
For years I've always wondered who records those jingles. Is that a speciality? Is there somebody out that just does jingles?
Well,
They'll have this massive back catalogue of like 1,000 jingles, because what are they, like 30 seconds?
Yeah.
You could record like 50 jingles a day instead of one song.
I like to think that it's a dedicated studio that does it, but we've all watched Toast, so we know that it's. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Ken Fandango.
Great. What we're looking for is Sunday morning, 7 TV. There's no Carl, but we've just D. That'd be great if you could do that, please.
Sunday morning, 7 TV. Brilliant.
Need more of a role on the 7 TV. 7 TV.
Shut up, Clem Fandango.
That's great. That's perfect. Morning, Justin.
Morning, Andy. How are we today?
Not too bad. Nice to see you. This is the funny thing that we've talked about this before, because obviously you and I doing a video, nothing new there. Then lockdown comes and suddenly we get tired doing videos. Everyone gets bored talking to each other and having Zoom meetings and doing online gaming, and it's like, I'm just going to ring you once a month now.
Well, maybe twice.
Sometimes. Oh, an exciting thing happened. I'm gonna ring Justin. Justin, guess what? There's 2 cats in my back garden.
No way. I had 3 the other day.
No.
It's weird. Like, I mean, COVID happened, lockdown happened, we all got locked up, and then we just talk about the most boring, random things now.
Yeah, that's it.
What we all do at the club last. Do you remember that game we were playing? Let's talk about that. Or what are you working on now? Let's talk about that. It's like, there's a pigeon in my garden.
Yeah.
You can't and see each other and talk about things you want. It's like, I have to talk to someone today. I'm really bored. Hey, let's talk about pigeons in the garden.
It's like, what happened today? Really? Let me think for a minute.
A couple of kids sat around all day.
Yeah. It's like, I think I went through one period of a week where I just wore the same clothes every day. I don't think I actually changed. I think I literally just went to bed, got up again, carried on for about a week, and then I went.
Sure, I did that before lockdown.
What did I have for dinner Monday? No. Tuesday? No. Oh, I'll have pizza tonight. There's no pizza stains in this jumper.
That one clearly wasn't worn through the weekend.
Yeah. It's like, oh. But no, it's weird that just kind of within the last couple of weeks, I partly blame Carl, but within the past couple of weeks, we've all had that little bit of enthusiasm again. You and I have been printing stuff. Simon started buying games again. It's like spring is in the air, rebirth and renewal.
It's almost like we can kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel. And it's like everyone's just slowly gearing up again to get back into hobby and gaming, because I mean, when is it we can meet again? In a few weeks' time, we can all actually, well, not all, 2 households can meet in a garden, so you can almost game again with a chosen friend.
With a special friend.
I'm talking to you, Paul, if you're listening. I'm going to your house and sit in your garden and force you to game.
I have to say, my first shared game is going to have to be, no offense to Carl and all our Crooked Dice fans, it's going to have to be Memoir 44. I'm hankering badly for some Memoir 44.
To be honest, any gaming right now.
I'll even accept losing. You 10-year-old child that lives across the street, come and play this game now.
Remember when this all started? We all went online and we Lewis got us all playing D&D together, which was great. Well done, we Lewis. But it's just not the same as sitting across a table and sort of like staring someone down and role playing sort of, with a bit of an atmosphere going on. You know,
Yeah.
if you're just doing it in your living room or whatever, and there's things going on around you, it's not the same.
No.
Gaming doesn't really work as well online.
I mean, somehow
Gaming is
sitting there,
as well.
sharing a game, and me here on my phone, like I am right now, doesn't feel like it conveys the same disdain and disinterest as it does when we're in the same room together. Andy, it's your go.
Really convey anger towards people. You just can't be bothered.
It's like we're really not trying. Morning, Graham. Morning, Jez. How are you, gentlemen? Hope everyone is live and well. But yeah, it is that thing we were all doing. Now, it's weird. It is weird. I don't know, Justin. Maybe it's an Northern Ireland thing. You know what I mean? Because you still log on to the different groups and that, and sort of go around. I kind of drifted away from even bothering doing that. I was like, nobody's going to be doing anything. I'm not going to look. And then you keep going on to like 7TV productions and that, and people are like, I've built an entire gaming table during lockdown. Look, I've got sirs, and I've got waterfalls, and I've painted 300.
And every time I see one, I'm like,
yeah,
well done, you.
Yeah. Oh, good for you.
This is a TV show. Well done, you.
You're motivated. I am so happy for you. And then you think about it, you go, well, I'd say I am genuinely happy for you. But just, I don't know, 5 years locked in the house now, I feel somewhat cynical.
I tend to think of people who build giant big gaming tables. And I've been there, I've done that, but people who are doing it during lockdown, I just imagine sitting there with singular focus going, I'm going to build a gaming table and nothing else will happen. Whereas I've kind of devolved into this sort of thing where I put on TV shows and sort of don't binge watch them. I binge listen a TV show and sit and get minis for like 4 or 5 hours a night and get through like maybe 5 or 6 episodes of the show. And then I find myself at the end of putting everything away and going, what did I watch? What happened there? And then the following night, I'll go back and watch those 4 or 5 episodes again. You actually sort of line up what I didn't see, but what I did hear.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
I know I've had that thing where I've kind of stuck on Netflix or stuck on Amazon Prime in the background, as you do. And it's like, oh yeah, I'll stick that on. Resume watching. Okay. And you're like, click play. Yeah, you let it run for 5 minutes. You're like, I have no idea who these people are or what they're doing. Let's go back to the start and see what they're. Oh, yes. And there we go. 5 minutes in, I've lost all interest.
Gandalf, then, don't you?
Yeah.
No memory of this place.
Oh, dear,
yeah.
oh, dear. Right,
Which I did notice you've been watching some very good gaming-related documentaries on Netflix of late.
I have. I've been trying to increase my level of highbrow as slowly my brow becomes higher. Anyway. Yeah. Well, I've watched because of what I'm doing with Stoker and Macaulay. I sort of thought I'm talking to all these kind of artsy, fartsy, creative type people, millionaires and actors and all that, and they're all quite, they've all got interesting stories. They've all got weird insights and stuff. And I thought, maybe if I broaden my mind a little bit. So I started with Neil Gaiman because I kind of figured I've read Neil Gaiman. I'm bound to be able to relate. You're slightly crazy. I kind of get you, but you're slightly crazy. But this is interesting. So working away, kind of listening to that. And then immediately after that came up the one about Grant Morrison.
Yep.
And I thought, well, haven't read a lot of his stuff. He's going to be a bit harder going. We'll go for that. And literally the pen went down. And it was an equal measure of, you, sir, you're as mad as a bag of badgers on speed. And scarily, I actually understand every single thing you're talking about. Oh no, I'm a little bit like Grant Morrison. Should I be pleased or scared? I'm going to go with scared.
But here's the thing, Andy. You would only think that about the British comics industry. Neil Gaiman and Grant Morrison, 2 of the godfathers of it.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't really feel the same about some of the American writers.
Well, probably not, because they're all kind of like a bit bats. as Neil Gaiman said when he moved to America, he thought, you know, they would all be kind of nice people, and yet they drive cars onto frozen lakes and take bets to see how long it'll be before the ice breaks and the car sinks. And he thought, that's not normal.
No, not in any way. Anyway.
It is a bit normal. Morning, Phil. How's she cutting? Fairly well. I, funnily enough, have a lot of cutting implements this morning, but since I'm no longer really officially a goth, they're safe enough. No harm shall come to me, just the miniatures.
There's Alan saying, many piles of shame have been cleared.
Yes, yes. He hasn't seen my piles of shame. Actually, I could do this. I threatened that I would do this one day, and I actually can do this. It's going to be brief. If you suffer from travel sickness, turn away now.
Uh-oh.
So, piles of shame, and I don't know, you can kind of see it over there, but it extends behind that coat and over to there. So there's like tons of stuff over there, and that's after having tidied up. That's me kind of thought to myself the other day, you know what, I really need to straighten up things here and make a bit of room, and it's still a bomb site.
I actually changed rooms. I'm not filming in the middle of a pile of shame at the minute, which is probably for the best, because no sooner do you actually get a lot of these minis painted or all these things built and glued together and moved out of the pile of shame, another one seems to just happen somehow.
Yeah.
I thought it's to get away from it for a few hours.
I was doing quite well. I've almost caught up with the backlog, because obviously we do like to do other things except 7TV. So I started getting a few of the unboxings caught up and a few of the little how to set up and how to play. Because as you and I have said there even this morning, we can't really play the game. It's your 5 minute obligatory 5 minute product placement. Yeah, there we go. But yeah, I'd sort of been working through stuff, and then Pan Am arrived, and then another Funko arrived. I kind of thought it's just a slower conveyor belt. I'm dealing with an unboxing video and something else.
This always happens between you and me and a few other guys in the club. Whenever I saw that post Pan Am arriving, I was thinking, that sod Andy has got that. I really fancy that game. And then you went and got it. Yeah. And I'm going to play it. I'm probably going to go, yeah, I want to get this too. But then again, that happens both ways. There's times I pick things up and you're like, that happened with Parks, that happened with quite a few other things, didn't it? Let's just be honest, you know.
Yeah.
Game can't just say, I don't need to buy this because somebody else has it. They just end up buying it themselves anyway.
Yeah, we try to be sensible. We try, and it didn't work. It failed. But at least we tried, Justin.
I tried for all of 5 minutes, had a real blinding headache, and had to move on.
It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Because let's see, you got a 3D printer, and then I got a 3D printer, and then Simon got a 3D printer, and you get a 3D printer, then I got another 3D printer, and I believe Black Sheep. Do you have anything you need to share with the group this morning about a certain purchase?
Yes, Chris.
We'll wait for your answer. Yeah, we'll wait for your answer. While we're waiting for your answer, let's actually do something vaguely 7TV related, and let's have up on the screen. Let's have a little look at Carl's latest wave of stuff. It's been a bit quieter for Carl, because obviously Lurkers is progressing along. There's been a lot of work on the whole fantasy TV side of things. But he has thrown up a couple of new painted pictures. Somebody else better than me can tell us who done the painting and sculpting, because, you know, I didn't write down the names. Okay, simple as that. But we've got some more fantasy stuff there popping up on the screen. We've got like a member of the guard. We've got some, I don't know, they just make me think of Ewoks. They're not Ewoks, they're like fox people or something.
I'm looking at a very small photo here. But yes.
You could look at
the two screens going.
Yeah,
Always going this way.
I've got
Yeah.
3 screens going and I've forgotten which one I'm supposed to be talking to at the minute. So I'm just going to look blankly ahead and wait until I see one move. There we go. Now I know which one I'm supposed to be looking at. But yeah, the Colony 87 stuff that's coming out now, I've got to say, I'm annoyingly kind of interested in. It has enough of that classic Imperial Guard look about it from 40k, but still different enough to kind of go, well, I'm not really playing 40k.
39.5K.
Yeah. I have yet to hear back. I have yet. Oh, you've yet to hear. Right.
Let's get her back.
Why did I feel there needed to be a comma in there somewhere? I don't know. Not enough caffeine. If you want, Chris, let me know because I have a number. I can ring people and I can chase that up for you. Morning, Peter. How are you? Nice profile pic. Very nice. Unlike Chris's profile pic, which does look as if it should have a little card with a number underneath it.
I was just thinking there, Andy, whenever you did say you have a number, whenever somebody from Northern Ireland says you're going to phone someone for you, you always instantly think of Liam Neeson. Where you are, I will find you, and I will get you your 3D printer.
I don't know who you are. Don't hold clippers up to your ear open. Always shut them first. Good safety tip. If you're going to pretend your clippers are a phone, close them first. Okay. Life hack.
Ear hack. You don't want to be the next Van Gogh of gaming.
Van Gogh. Yeah. Van Gogh. Right, so that's kind of where we are with the new releases for Crooked Dice. It's more of a holding position. He's in orbit, waiting to land because there's stuff coming and there's stuff happening, but it's just not happening today. Yes, those Colony 47. Colony 80. Is it Colony 47 or Colony 87? You've made me forget now. I thought it was Colony 87. Right. No, it's Colony 87. Jez only likes half of them. That's why it's Colony 47. But yeah, they are rather nice. So Justin and I, as we have already intimated, have been doing a bit of stuff. I'm actually going to bring up Justin's gallery.
Oh, please don't.
I'm going to bring those photographs you sent me up onto the screen, Justin.
Careful now.
There we go. It'll take a few wee seconds for those to kind of filter through and appear for you. Actually, since we're in the mood to edit, what I can actually do is I can make these. I think I can make these bigger. If I make them bigger, because you don't need to see me, you can kind of wait until they catch up with reality, and then you could have a little chat with people about them and what they mean and stuff.
Ooh, okay, right. These aren't coming through in the order I was expecting. But,
no, I did warn you that OBS kind of went, I see the order you've given me them, and I'm just going to put them in my order. Thanks very much.
Right. Okay. Well, I tell you what. Oh, look, there's Tiamat. Right. Let's start with dragons. Let's start with D&D, and relate it all back to 3D printing. I have often found I back during the start of lockdown, long time D&D player. I thought, you know what, half of the name of Dungeons and Dragons is dragons, and let's be honest. How often do people who play D&D encounter a dragon? Hey, everybody who role plays D&D play in a dungeon most of the time. But Andy, let's just ask Andy, how often have you fought a dragon in D&D in 30 odd years of gaming?
Once.
Yeah, maybe once.
Yeah.
And I kind of think of 50% of the title, 2% of the game is actually dragons. So I thought, you know what, screw it, I'm going to go on a project and make a whole load of dragons. And I started picking up all the Nolzur's Marvelous Minis range of dragons. I'm spending a good bit of time getting them up. There's the blue dragon just popped up. They're fantastic. They're really good out of the box, primed and all ready to go. And I ran out of dragons. So then moved on to Wyverns and Hydras and anything that was dragon-esque. And then I ran out of all them. I just thought, do you know what? Let's just try and go for something different. And I was just like, I have to do Tiamat. Why not? You know, you've done every dragon on the sun. Why not a 5-headed dragon? So no commercially available Tiamat at a decent price. And I figured, you know, let's just have a wee look on Thingiverse. Now, for anyone who doesn't know what Thingiverse is, Andy and I kind of live there at the minute because we have been 3D printing loads of stuff. And I picked up this file for this really colossal, massive Tiamat Mini, which, yeah, there's photos of it there coming up that was being built in various stages of construction. And yeah, it was really, really good. It was a fun wee project to kind of put a cap on the end of the sort of Dragons project that I went through. And, you know, I just haven't got around to using it. We can't. Nobody can do anything gaming wise at the minute. So I've got this massive big box full of dragons for a real sort of epic level D&D game, which I'll probably never get to play. But hey, it's just nice to have dragons. So yeah, that was the end of that wee project, which is kind of sad. So there's the Refuge just popped up. That was a great wee game that I backed on Kickstarter and brought up to the bunker a few weeks before all this really tightened up. Again, I did what you and I often do, Andy. You look at a project, you think, yeah, it looks like a nice game, but the minis are really nice. I'm backing up from the minis alone. Hey, it's a good game, but that's a bonus. So I sat on that for about 6 months before I finally got around to painting it. Oh, look, there's some of your stuff too.
Yeah, the Blade Runner peeps, successes and
Yeah.
failures. Eventually, we ended up with full set of successes.
Yeah. Oh well, I'll tell you what, I'm not going to steal all this here.
Well, no, because this folder that photograph has ended up sneaking in there by mistake. But on the topic of printing, because one of the things that keeps coming up here in this gallery, and next time, folks, I've figured out. I've now discovered what OBS doesn't like about how I give it gallery information. So next time we'll be able to have this a bit tidier and flow better. But you have pictures coming up there of the alien.
yeah.
I'm going to say bunker complex for the want of a better word.
Right. That came about as basically I love Aliens. Absolutely loved the film the first time I saw it. Always really loved it. And then Gale Force 9 had their game in the pipeline. And as soon as that was announced, I thought I'm going to actually make a big Aliens board because it's going to be great getting minis of all the characters I love from the films, but it's going to be crap playing with them on just flat cardboard thing. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to actually print. So I did a wee bit of searching and I came across LV427 Designs and all of the great stuff that Mark, I think the guy's called, if memory serves, has designed over there. Some fantastic stuff. And one of the things in particular was the Colony Hub, where he's made sort of like his version of the hub from the Aliens film. So I did that, and I did a hangar bay and a whole selection of other rooms, and they're very, very reasonably priced. For anyone who has a normal 3D, conventional 3D printer, you can pick up some of his files for as cheap as what, $4, $5 per room. And from there you can just mix and match, make your own interpretation of it, or just go with the film as close to film as you can. He's done everything from the colony right down to the alien corridors.
What I've been able to do there, Justin, just so that you have a point of reference, on the screen in a few seconds it'll actually change to the LV47 Designs webpage, and there we go. And the folks can actually get a little bit of a look at what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's on sale at the minute.
I think there's always been a sale since he started.
DFS.
But but you know what? Honestly, guys, go check his stuff out because if you have a 3D printer and you fancy doing an alien set, or just even something you want to use for Space Hulk or any sort of sci-fi type of game, check his stuff out. It's fantastic and it is very, very reasonably, very, very well priced, very cheaply priced. Let's be honest. But there's Alan. Is the alien style scenery bought or printed? Alan, no, he just sells the files. He doesn't print. So you just have to, you need to print it yourself. But very, very good stuff. Oh, I'm just looking at some of the other comments. Damn it, Jazz here. Damn it, in putting together the Gale Force 9 game, that at least hope looks ace. It is ace. It's better than ace. I stuck that together. I think each of those files ran about 9-10 hours per section. It had these focus, I think, 12 sections. So it's the kind of thing, Jazz, that you print and you walk away from, and you wake up in the morning and you've got a part of the bit, part of the whole colony hub done. I went across probably about 3 weeks doing that and the hangar bay and the whole section of other rooms. And I've now got it broken up into 4 tables. It's clipped together and you can orientate in any other direction. And yeah, it's a great reset. And again, because of flipping COVID, we haven't been able to actually sit down and play any of it. which sucks. So, but in relation to how this works, I mean, let's be honest, Annie, let's go back a few years before 3D printing was really sort of as popular. You would have had to like scratch build all these things.
Yeah.
And I still have great appreciation for any guys that we know that scratch build. I mean, let's pull him out of there. James Latimer. James, if you're watching, your stuff is fantastic. You can craft great scenery out of nothing more than like cabbage and a few bits of like old straws. You're like the MacGyver of scenery. But I will say that 3D printing scenery is good, but it's not 100% there yet with sort of filament printers. There's still a bit of tidy up. You still want to add things to it just to give it that wee sort of, there's bits you want to hide. There's maybe supports or bits you trimmed off and you just still need to hide. Resin printing is better, but we're not quite there yet with size for a home sort of resin printer. You're never going to be able to print some of these rooms.
No.
It's just not happening. It's good. It's a very, very good medium to start and to assist with terrain, but it's not the be all and end all. Maybe in a few years' time, but currently, right now, it gets you 90% of the way there. And to be honest, the photos I've done there that you're looking at are the ones I've printed. I was happy enough with them looking a wee bit beaten and ragged, and I've just attacked it with a soldering iron and put more holes in it and painted it up to look like acid burns on the floor and what have you, and explosions and so on. So if you're creative at all, you can hide a lot of the wee, dodgy bits or bits that didn't quite print right. But again, like I say, get you 90% of the way there. Oh, here's Peter here. Before 3D printing or MDF, if you wanted scenery without scratch building, bank busting resin was your only choice.
Well, yeah, you could go on and you could always buy some resin terrain pieces and things like that there. But they were through the nose. Everyone always sort of cites Forge World as being the creme de la creme. But I remember back in the day, you could have gone online, you could have ordered, a trench emplacement or a little sort of hovelled house. But even a small cottage with like a stump of a tree beside it and a bit of a river was like 30-40 quid.
Yeah, and the thing is, you needed multiple bits of scenery to make a decent gaming table. So before you do it, you were like 400 or 500 quid before you had a reasonable sized table.
Yeah. Now, okay, I promised I wasn't going to show the yet again still unfinished Galileo space shuttlecraft, but the yet unfinished Galileo shuttlecraft was printed on an entry level 3D resin printer. But if you approach this as Joe Blogs with zero homework done, this would have actually printed out something around that size, because that's the size it was in the STL file. And I then manually had to tell it to get bigger and bigger and bigger. Done a little experimental print, which... Now, there's the little experimental print. Okay? There's two fundamental differences here. This one used less resin than this one.
Because the one on top is solid and the one on bottom's hollow.
Yeah, because that's solid, and I went, wow, that's really high. I've printed a solid resin model. Oh my god!
And that one has cost you 4 or 5 times as much as the one on the bottom.
Exactly. And learning how to hollow out and leave little bleed holes so that when it's printing and all the rest of it, there's a minefield of stuff. But by the same token, this loosely probably really cost about £2.50 to print.
That's the beauty of resin printing, especially for things like that. I mean, hollow models can be really, really cheap. Even printing minis. I don't know. Did you have any photos of my G.I. Joe or Masters Universe stuff in there?
I told it to put them up there.
Yes. You can print minis. You can print really high detailed minis for a matter of pence each, and that's where 3D printing, resin printing in particular, has come into its own. It's not quite there for terrain and bigger pieces because there's still a bit of work to sort of stick bits together and marry it all up. But for minis, flip me, it's fantastic. When you compare filament printing to 3D, it's really got there. It really has.
See, you're relying on me knowing which one of these tiny thumbnail pictures is G.I. Joe.
Jazz has just hit the nail on the head here. Right here, I love terrain making, but 3D printing is the way for bits and greenies. One day I'll get one. That's exactly what it's for, Jess. I mean, yeah, you can still do a lot of stuff manually, but if you want the wee bits of detail to like set around like an encampment or a base or something, 3D printing is the way to go. In fact, scrolling around there in the photos, there was the big map table I did for Hadley's Hope, which was done on a resin printer, which was fantastic. And I don't have a photo there of the one I did on the filament printer, but it was like night and day. I mean, Andy, you know what it's like now yourself. Whenever you printed your shuttlecraft, how smooth is the finish on that?
Oh, it's like a baby's bum, possibly with slight rash.
Yeah. Actually, case in point, everyone's favorite X-Men, X-Man, Gambit, 3D printed, resin printer, and that's how good minis come out.
Ooh, I can do that too. Hang on.
Yeah, you can do that too.
I can do that too. I can do a thing with my iPhone. So try and not make everybody sick. So there's a most recent print. It should sort of come up in the next few seconds. So this is our Thingiverse file. Actually, I'll put these two files up on the chat whenever I've shown this off here. So this is another Thingiverse file. It's a little notice board. I actually thought that this would work well as like a village notice board for lurkers.
Yep.
And that's it. There's like the wood grain effect on the back of it and all there. The little notices already. Now all them straight up lines that you can sort of see, they're supports just in case you don't know. And it's important to get them right on a print so that it stops the thing kind of drooping on itself. So that's
for anyone that doesn't know, Thingiverse, you can pretty much find anything on it. A lot of people go on and print proper applications of 3D printing, like brackets or hinges or whatever, and then you get the likes of gamers who go on there. You can find just about any mini you ever wanted to have or own, and really, I've just been delving through it, looking for minis from like classic 80s cartoons mainly, but the minis you just can't get for games, which are perfectly usable in things like 7TV. So we're not saying don't buy stuff off Carl, go buy stuff off Carl. But if there's any minis that Carl doesn't make, go to Thingiverse.
Yeah.
And also the printer.
So there we go. There's the Gambit miniature that I found in Thingiverse too. Just so that you can sort of see, because if you're kind of wondering what's this Thingiverse, what's he talking about? What's the man with the funny hair mean? Tell me, Daddy. He's scaring me. So popping up for you in a couple of seconds there will be MakerBot Thingiverse, and there's that Gambit figure that I literally just showed you. It's by perkles.be. Oh no, it's by Kofbar. I think the photograph is perkles.be. The actual file is Kobarf, put up there in 2020. And whenever you go in, you sort of find the file you're looking for, and it tells you how many files are involved. There's comments of people if it's worked for them or not. Then you click in the likes of there, or not.
Jez has just made a comment here, and I'm actually going to follow up on that, Jez. He says it's like living in the future. Now, Andy, I have to ask you, whenever you've actually turned your printer on and hit the go button, have you ever found yourself saying to it, tea, Earl Grey, hot?
I'm not going to lie to you. I'm just not going to answer that question.
There you go, folks. That's a yes.
There is a 3D file on Thingiverse that you can print that is a cup in a saucer, complete with steam, and on the side of the cup it says tea, Earl Grey, hot, just so you can print it as an ornament.
Just because we're living in the future.
Yeah. There's Gambit, and there's that little notice board. So yeah. So they're all on there too, STL files and all that kind of thing. I mean, one of the things that Justin and myself and Simon have chatted about doing, because Justin's been in the 3D game for quite a while. He's got like, I don't know, 8 printers or something. It's like prints money and stuff. Duffy and I have kind of started started slightly more modestly, but straight in at the resin pond. So one of the things we've sort of thought about doing is literally like, because you guys know we're idiots, right? And there's no secret there. So we sort of thought an idiot's guide.
People are listening to us.
Yeah, an idiot's guide to 3D printing, where we literally go, hey, look, in this box is a 3D printer. Let's open it and set it up. Ah!
I'm just going to stop you. I think what we need to do is an unboxing. Then we need to print the box and put it back in it again. Conception. Yeah.
Yeah. He's not here every week. It's okay. It's just been locked away. But yeah, that's a thing we could do. I don't know. We could call it Wee 3D Print or something like that. There, since apparently all our shows have to have a wee name.
We print.
Yeah, somebody's sending me messages. Hey, wait! You all know that when we're on, it's probably my mum. No, it's Chris Fawcett. Chris Fawcett sent me a message.
Yeah, he sent me some as well. I haven't looked at them yet.
Ah, right. I think what Chris is doing is he sent us photographs in the belief that we're actually that good that we can bring them up on the chat like we're the BBC or something, except not biased. So, do you know what? I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to give it a go bringing Chris's picture onto the screen.
Well, folks, if Andy crashes the whole thing doing this, it's been nice chatting to you.
Mummy, why does it burn? I don't know. Yeah, I actually think I can do this. I actually think I can do this. I am a god in my own mind. Everyone who does this professionally looks at him and thinks, you have 2 thumbs. Use them both. There we go. Chris's picture live. Okay, it's not there yet for them, but it's there for me. I can see it. It's coming. That's what she said. It's okay. We do tick the box that says this show's not made for kids. We just discourage swearing. Chris picture on the screen now. I'm glad you asked that.
Okay.
It's an alien thing.
Thing.
It's
Thingiverse.
No, it's like the alien queen, and it's like eating a marine or tearing a marine in half or something like that there.
Nice.
Dude, you're such an art teacher. My art teacher always done that. Walked over, looked at my shoulder. Very nice. What is it? Wrong button and the lights in the neighbourhood go down. Hey, we're in Northern Ireland. We don't have lights or a neighbourhood.
Moving on.
I don't care.
Yeah, that looks good.
If they can't take the joke, they can leave. So, since, Justin, we're on the topic of 3D printing and files and suggesting to people, hey, 3D printing's the new fun hobby we should all be taking part of, why don't we look at a couple of Kickstarters that encourage that very thing?
Because that's probably 50% of why we're here.
It's the closest thing to being coordinated and organised that I can manage for us, I'm afraid. Yeah, let's do that. Oh, I killed the background somehow. See, I did press the wrong button. I fixed it again though. It comes back. I don't actually know what button I pressed that I made it go wrong, but there we go. So there's your Kickstarters. You can talk, Justin, because you know stuff.
Oh, this is the zombie apocalypse one. Yeah. Who doesn't want zombie apocalypse minis? And who doesn't want, let's see, if I remember rightly, in this collection we do have the Big Lebowski as well. And we do have your band Falling Down, a lot of other classic sort of 80s films characters in this set, which, let's be honest, we haven't seen anywhere else, have we?
No. I'm just killing the volume here because double volume doesn't really do very well. I'm just letting the video roll, like, there you go.
So yeah, no, they do two versions every mini. They do just normal standard movie version, and then they do a zombie version of them. So for guys out there and girls out there who like Zombicide, this is the Kickstarter for you, and they're actually very affordable. This is the thing about minis on Thingiverse and on Kickstarter. They're very, very cheap. Oh, there we go. Who else have we got in there?
The
Let's see, we
Dude,
have the Bright Bill. What else have we got?
Machete,
Yeah, Machete Kills. Yeah,
Ripley.
just some great stuff in there. Just all those classic sort of, horror films
Oh,
and all.
The Thing,
Yeah, yeah, McCready from The Thing is in there. So yeah, two reasons to back this.
Kill Bill, Falling. It's like playing the Generation game. I like this.
And
Make the video longer.
yeah,
Um,
Pulp Fiction's represented in there too. So a whole load of good movies in there. And what's the pledge level? It's reasonably cheap, isn't it?
I don't know. You want me to look at stuff? Back this project. Pledge without
20
a
quitters.
reward. $55. Modern Day Survivors complete STL set. Gets you all 25 Modern Day Survivors plus all the stretch goal zombies, totaling 50 high quality pre supported STL miniatures. Ken,
There you go,
Mac,
guys.
Skylar, Pamela, Bill, MDSO2, Danny, Ella, Anthony, Rod. These names mean nothing. There we go.
Slightly less than £1 per mini. And you can print them as many times as you want.
50 times miniature sculpts worth $250 for $50. That represents 80% off. Don't forget to factor in the cost of your resin, boys and girls. Depending on the printer that you own, your resin will range from about £15 for 500 millilitres up to about £39 to £40 for anything between 500 millilitres and 1 kilogram of liquid, because some of it is labelled for America, where they measure volume in weight.
Yes, and you're averaging 15-20 pence resin per mini, printed at a decent standard.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, still very cheap. So you're talking slightly over £1 for a printed mini. And if it gets broken or you want multiples, do it again.
And whilst this is like we're doing the good cop, bad cop thing. The other thing to remember, kids, is when you're first printing resin, have a bucket nearby, because everything you print will go wrong and have to go in the bin, completely unreusable, because it's guff and you done it wrong. Why did you do it wrong? Because you didn't listen to the Justin, Andy and Simon show on how to maximize your first 3D prints. That's because we haven't recorded it yet.
Funnily enough, I did see the 80% off thing there, and it stuck in my head because 80% of your first batch of prints will probably go wrong.
Yeah. I have so many wrong things. No,
just last week, I had Andy right on a few things, and he's went from what percentage of scrap, sort of like 80% scrap, to about 1% scrap now.
In the space of 1 5-minute conversation where I went, oh, really? I went from about 80% failure rate to about maybe 10% failure rate.
Yeah.
Which is super awesome, fun time, nice. I've also gone from, about 100% productivity down to about 20% productivity, because I have to have relearned patience.
And here's a free tip right now for the boys and girls at home of how we did that. So this little Minecraft Lego guy will represent any typical mini. And instead of putting him on the printer like that, put him on the printer like that and print him flat. It will do two things. It will massively reduce your print time, and it will also massively reduce the amount of scrap you have, because when you're printing them like this, they're more prone to going wrong. Print them on their back, there's more supports along the bottom, and you use less material. Right or wrong, Andy?
Everything you say is always right, Justin. Do you want me to show them a 3D printer here? Do you want me to like?
Go ahead.
Will I go to the live camera again? Let's go to the live camera again. iPhone. Come away from that. Go to camera. There we go. We're on camera again. Oh, hello everybody. Our camera. So yeah, over here we have a typical kind of entry level 3D printer. Let's see if I can move that light so you don't get blinded. Okay. So we've got our little control panel down here. We've got our vat of resin. Ooh, mysterious pool. And then we have our print head. Okay, and this is the weird thing still to me for printing, because I'll lift that sign that I grabbed earlier. This printed like that. Okay. So do you get the idea how this worked? That arm literally descends down into the vat, and it starts printing on the bottom side of that plate, and then as it rises up out of the resin, it prints bit by bit by bit by bit by bit by bit until it's finished, and then it's sitting there like a dripping thing. Yeah, there we go. It's a dripping thing.
It's kind of like, but also nothing like Terminator 2.
Oh, do you know what? I totally messed that up, Justin. I do apologise, because I didn't show them what I was doing. They've been looking at the side of my head, but still looking at miniatures. So there we go.
Yeah, like I was saying, it's kind of like, but nothing like Terminator 2. You're just taking liquid and making it solid, coming up out of liquid. It's cool. Do you know, I kind of want to print the old sort of thumbs up end of Terminator 2 thing, just so it actually comes out of the liquid as a thumbs up. That would be awesome.
That would be kind of cool. There we go. There we go. So there's the phones on the screen now. Hello, everybody. So we're gonna do that again. Here is a typical 3D printer. This is a resin vat. It is filled with liquid resin, and this is a print plate. It's above the resin because it descends into the resin to print. This is a typical control panel. You tell it to do stuff. And then this little sign, there we go, that we printed earlier, it prints like that off the plate. Okay, so it literally comes up out of the resin like that, drip, 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 until it's finished, and then you have to prise it off, and you have to wash it in alcohol, and all that kind of stuff.
Not that kind of alcohol.
No, that kind of alcohol would be of no use to you whatsoever in this job. There we go. Second time was a charm, Justin.
Yes, we got there.
In the
right,
end.
back to Kickstarters. We have another one to look at.
Oh yeah, he's just all work, no play with you.
And if you like the minis in the last one, this one's even better. Even better. Not saying the other one's bad. It's good, but this one just ticks a lot more boxes.
It's like McDonald's is nice, but Burger King's better. We know what you mean.
Yeah. Let's not have the Coke and Pepsi argument.
Leave me alone. Don't judge me. So there you go. There's your next Kickstarter on the screen, Justin.
Oh, there's Jez just jumped in with tips. Free one for you, Jez. No problem.
No, I think that was Jez kind of going, oh, I'm excited, tips. And then when I'm looking at the side of Andy's head and I'm seeing nothing, and now he's kind of gone, oh, thank you. You've actually showed me what you're talking about. I appreciate that. Yeah. You idiot, Andy.
Right. You may have to scroll through this page, Andy, because this is a fairly hefty Kickstarter.
Okay, Mum. I'm scrolling. I'm scrolling. My finger is working hard.
So post-apocalyptic, I'll say that one again, miniatures covering everything from Mad Max to Planet of the Apes to Zardos. Who has ever seen a Zardos mini before?
Zardos!
Great. It even covers things like Thundercats, G.I. Joe. So, I mean, this was winning on so many levels. Like
go, Joe, go!
There he is. Let's see, scroll down here. What have we got here?
Yeah, see, when you say scroll down, I've already passed that. It's too late.
Yeah.
So I'm just scrolling through it.
Everything they do is from sort of like those films and beyond, and they include scenery, not just minis. So there's some very good stuff there. I mean, the Planet of the Apes temple and the missile and everything, the nuke, it's in there. There is a photo actually on their updates, which I don't think was on the Kickstarter, but anyone who backed it, also getting a Thunder tank for Thundercats. How good is that? How awesome is that? But going back to what Jess is saying, for all the wee bits in scenery and so on, look at that. There's a car city, gas pumps, and all sorts popping up in there. So you can build your barter town. You can build your barter town from Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. In fact, the Thunderdome itself is in this Kickstarter. You can indeed print the Thunderdome. 2 men enter, 1 man leaves. How good is that? That's just a game in itself. That's a tabletop game in itself. So what else we got there? Barrels made into chairs, notice boards, everything. This could be used for gaslands too. We could build up scenery for gaslands, like spectators and what have you. Just
Yeah.
scale it all down to the right size.
Oh, there we go. There's the money shot. You won't see it yet, but I can.
So yes, I think we'll be back to get a free Flash Gordon mini as well. That was the first one, and it just gets better from there.
Yeah, first prize to anyone who does a Zardos cosplay costume. I mean, be brave. Be all brave.
No, it's neither of us anyway.
No. Zardos, you've had burgers. Gasoline.
Zardos, red, fantastic. Yes. Some fantastic stuff in there. So actually,
I've just noticed Can Noonien Singh.
Yeah. They even, from the Mad Max apocalyptic side, cover Fury Road. Because we do have a Morton Joe in there,
Yeah,
which was
think
actually
you
the
have to.
reason I backed this, to be honest. And everything else was gravy.
Everything else was gravy. You dirty boy. Human slaves, there's some Planet of the Apes. You thinking apes, what have you done? What have you done?
I don't think I've ever come across Planet of the Apes minis before. Maybe I've just missed them.
You did, because Crooked Dice has some.
Did they? Oh,
Yeah.
no, sorry. No, yes, they do.
Yeah, because they've done a whole adventure at Salute, like in, I don't know, 100 years ago. Back when we used to have events.
Sure it is. It's too long in lockdown. Starting to forget things.
Is it just me, or does that Dr. Orangutan not scream at you, the chief librarian from Unseen University?
Oh, yeah. There you go. There's another way to use that mini.
That's exactly who I'm seeing there. I am not seeing Planet of the Apes. I'm seeing Get Off My Books.
Do not Google Zardos cosplay. Not on a Sunday morning.
Yeah. No, not when you're signed in to your profile.
Oh.
Yeah, and don't watch the other version of Zardos. Just don't.
No. So if you scroll right on down there to the add-ons, which I think were like $20 a pack.
Well, I'm kind of rattling through it here rightly. Sludge the Revenger. 2 mutants. He looks familiar. There's the armor car. The armor car.
Yeah.
And the armor
See, this is the thing, and you'll see it on web and on Kickstarters, I guess. You rename something slightly, and then you just make whatever you want.
Yeah. I've made the turret different, and it doesn't go down the back of the truck. Oh, it does. I've made the truck a little bit different.
We're looking at you, Carl. Because that's kind of like Carl's business model, isn't it?
It's a little bit cleverer than that, but yes.
Oh, yes, cleverer than that, but still.
Action Force.
Yeah. It's all good stuff, isn't it?
Yes. I'm a little bit excited.
And also that Action Force stuff, and I sent you last night, could double as Cursed Earth. A lot of that stuff could double as Cursed Earth.
Look at the train.
I know. It's just great.
That's a crazy train. Thunderdome. Dome-shaped cage.
Dome-shaped cage. Thunderdome.
What straw can I grasp onto for naming this so that people will know exactly what it is, but I won't get sued? Dome-shaped cage. It rolls off the tongue.
Lightning Hemisphere. Thunderdome. Yeah.
Cave Bunker. Cave Bunker. Ape Temple. I need the Ape Temple to have a skull above it so it can be my Phantom's Skull Cave. The Icarus. I'll rename that the Icarus.
Actually, that would work really well with the Phantom game, which I see over your shoulder there as well.
Yeah.
Which I was quite able to take. I was thinking, back to the earlier conversation, you get games I think, I want that too. And you do it again.
Do you know what else I've got?
No, don't.
I've got the On printed expansion for the Phantom.
Okay.
Because we've been asked to playtest that too.
How? When?
I asked him that, and he said, "Don't bring me problems, bring me solutions." I think that what we do is we sit. Well, I've figured this out. We both get by the same table in IKEA, and we cut it in half, and we put suckers onto it, and then you come up and sit at my back door, and we sucker each of our halves of the table onto the glass door.
I thought you were going to say like Battleship or something, but no.
No,
Yeah,
and we'd literally play with the glass door between us.
I'd be like, E3, what?
I've got vents, and you can hear perfectly well. You just flick the vent. It's just, we can have a conversation. It's like me being in the chamber and saying, you know, I fried it with a little Chianti. You'll hear it all.
Speaking of things, by the way, that you've picked up that I want, and things I've picked up that you want, I did finally get a copy of Labyrinth, the RPG.
I hate you.
Very good. Very good. But that's for a future video.
There's Bartertown. Shh. You and your Labyrinth. Bartertown. And little watchtowers that seem remarkably short, but, you know.
Bartertown they got away with. They didn't have to rename it.
Bartertown, they just had to film from the top of Cave Hill. Hydro Bar.
Welcome to the Dome Shape.
Gallows.
Yeah, doesn't work as well, does it?
Scatter terrain. And then it's into stretch goals. You know, we could just rattle through this probably for like the next 3 or 4 hours. We're not going to. You can go and look yourselves. Now, there's some big terrain pieces. The Master's Castle and stuff. And there's obviously Judge Dredd, Lawmasters Mark 1 and 2. And I think Judge Dredd Flying Lawmasters.
Yeah, from that 95 Abomination that made. Was it 95? It was, wasn't it?
The 95 Abomination was inspired perfectly legitimately by Judge Dredd as his tenure on Luna 1 as the Marshal, because on Luna 1 they used hover bikes, hover Lawmasters. You take that back. They just tried to cram.
Remove Stallone and his costume and just him in general out of that film. And you could sort of deep fake Carl Urban's face in there, and just it would be a much, much better film.
Yeah, but the film, to be fair, was much more 2000 AD. It did its best to be more.
Okay, aesthetically, a lot of it was better. The backgrounds, right? That was all great, but yeah, it just wasn't. He took the mask off. No. Just wrong.
Well, he should have just been summarily executed for that by the SJS. I have GM 2 Labyrinth RPGs over Zoom, and it was awesome. Excellent. Some will enter, another, some will exit. Some will enter, another, some will exit. I think I know what you meant. Yes, welcome to the dome-shaped cage. Yep. No, there is some great stuff in there. Right. I think we've given them enough, Justin. We have slated their thirst. We have knocked the monitor over because somehow my foot has become completely enrobed in a cable that it should have had no business being there. There we go, we're better.
I was wondering what you were going to point it at there, but
something bad's happening under the table. Not that. Many wonderful people. Many wonderful things.
We're back to police battle.
Oh my. Yes, the ABC Warrior and the Stallone Dread was the best bet. Except it was also the worst bet since the ABC Warrior had no business being in Dread. So that's just my non-biased opinion on that. And
speaking of the ABC Warrior, if anybody out there does have a 3D print file for the ABC Warriors, let us know.
Or just buy like some of the old Foundry ones that are still kicking about. I could buy them, or I could just illegally print them. Okay. I'll take your third-party knockoffs over a legitimately licensed product. Thanks very much.
And therein, but we make big ones, you know.
But in all seriousness, therein does lie the problem with 3D printing too, because it's all very well, you know, being able to do this stuff, but you can make things that really probably shouldn't, which is fine whenever you're making them for you, I suppose, because it is in a way it's the modern version of clobbering the thing together out of eggshell cartons and toilet roll tubes. You are crafting something that doesn't exist commercially for your own pleasure. The issue I start to take is where you are kind of dancing on somebody else's toes a little bit, but you know, if they're not going to do it, meh. Fix it. Make the world a better place. Because we all want our miniatures. Right, okie doke. So we're going to have to wrap up there now, guys and girls. Thanks for tuning in. As always, hit subscribe because, you know, it'll make our lives better or something meaningful like that, probably. And with that note, we shall bid you adieu. Max von Snowden, he was awesome. And we're going to run the credits and run away then. Okay, say bye-bye, Justin.
Bye-bye, Justin.
He didn't. Oh, he did. He did say bye-bye, Justin. That's nice.